Here's something most of us were never told. Working hard is not a promotion strategy. I know that sounds harsh, but the data backs it up. Study after study shows that performance, doing your job well, hitting your targets, getting great results accounts for only a small part of what actually drives promotion. Yet most women, when you ask them what they're doing to get ahead, some say some version of the same thing. I'm keeping my head down and doing great work, and the people making promotion decisions, they're usually looking at something else entirely. Today, we're going to talk about what actually gets you promoted and why hard work on its own is never going to be enough. Welcome back to Women Leading Beyond Bias. I'm Sandra D'Souza, founder of Elect and Amazon bestselling author of From Bias to Equality. In this series, we look at the real barriers women face in leadership, backed by research and grounded in what actually works. Let's get into it. So let's look at the evidence. A study by researchers at Stanford University found that performance explains only about 10% of who gets promoted. That's 10%. The rest comes down to things like visibility, relationships, and how well you are known by the people making decisions. Organizational psychologist Thomas Chamorro-Przemyk has studied what separates high performers from high advancers. His research shows that the people who move up fastest are not always the most competent. They are the most aware of how their organization actually works, who holds influence, and how to make their work visible to the right people. Then there's a study from Harvard Business Review that tracked MBA graduates over 8 years. Men and women started out with similar qualifications, similar ambitions, and similar performance ratings. 8 years later, men were significantly more likely to be in senior roles and were earning around 50% more on average. The key difference was not performance. Men had been proactive, seeking out high-profile projects, building relationships with senior leaders, and asking for promotions directly. Women were more likely to wait to be noticed, to trust that good work would speak for itself. It doesn't, not on its own. I hear a version of the story a lot. A woman has been in her role for 2 or 3 years. She is by every measure excellent at her job. Her manager knows it, her team knows it. Then a more junior college, often a man, gets the promotion she was expecting. When she asks for feedback, she's told something vague like, you need to raise your profile, or we need to see more strategic thinking from you. She's frustrated, she's confused, and she starts to wonder if the system is rigged. Now, here's what I tell her. The system isn't always fair, but it does have rules. And the rule she has been missing is this. In most organizations, your reputation is built in rooms you're not in. Decisions about who is ready, who is leadership material, who gets the next opportunity, those conversations happen without you. And if the only people who know how good you are sit in your immediate team, you are invisible to the people who matter most. Hard work fills your day, visibility fills your pipeline. So here's what to do differently. 3 simple shifts. 1, make your work visible beyond your team. This doesn't mean bragging, it means connecting your work to outcomes the business cares about and sharing those outcomes with people beyond your immediate manager. Send a brief update when the project lands well. Speak up in cross-functional meetings. Volunteer to present results to senior leaders. A 2021 study in the Journal of Vocational Behavior found that people who actively shared their achievements with the wider audience were significantly more likely to be considered for promotion, regardless of gender. The difference is that men do this more naturally and more often. Women tend to wait to be asked. 2, build relationships up and across, not just within your team. Most people are good at building strong relationships with the people they manage. Few are intentional about connecting upwards and across the business. But research from organizational network analysis shows consistently that people with broad internal networks connections across departments, levels, and functions advance faster than those with deep but narrow ones. A simple way to think about it, for every hour you spend on work that only your manager sees, invest some time in conversations that connect you to people beyond your direct line. 3. Ask for what you want directly. Research from Carnegie Mellon University found that men are 4 times more likely than women to proactively ask for a promotion or a pay rise. Women often wait to be offered. They worry about coming across as pushy. But the data shows that managers rarely advocate for someone who hasn't expressed their ambition. So if your manager doesn't know you want the next role, they may simply just assume that you're happy where you are. Say it out loud. Book the conversation. Be specific about what you want and when you want it. Asking is not aggressive. It's professional. In the PRISM framework, today's episode connects most directly to relationships and impact. We've talked a lot about relationships today, building connections with the right people so your work gets seen. But impact in the PRISM framework is about something bigger. It's about what you do to help other women progress into leadership roles. Because when you get to that next level, one of the most powerful things you can do is turn around and bring someone else with you. That's how we create lasting change, not just for ourselves, but for the women coming up behind us. So here's your question for this week. Think about the senior people in your organization, the ones who influence promotion decisions. How many of them know your name? How many of them know what you're working on and why it matters? And how many of them would put their hand up for you if your name came up in a conversation? If the honest answer is not many, then there's your starting point. Not more work, more visibility. Because hard work is the foundation, but visibility is what gets you promoted. Leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about understanding the environment you're in and learning how to navigate it. That's how we move from bias to quality and how more women step into leadership. I'm Sandra D'Souza. Thanks for listening. See you in episode 5.